guys, welcome back to my channel. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. In today's video, what I want to talk about is social distancing with cerebral palsy. And as always, this is how it affects me with my cerebral palsy, as each person with cerebral palsy is affected differently. But I know that some things can come across even if your cerebral palsy is less severe or more severe, so it still is relevant. So the last 3 weeks I have been social distancing. It's been a week longer than those the government mandated lockdown, because when the advice and guidance was first put out, cerebral palsy was listed under those at a higher risk. It was the same list as the people that get the flu jab every year. And myself, I think it's kind of important for me personally to social distance, because when I get a cold, it does literally take me out. I don't have any respiratory issues to say, but when I get a cold, I am literally like exhausted all the time, flat out, can't move, can't do anything except lay in the bed and just stare at the ceiling, because even sleeping is hard because my legs can't get comfortable. But the muscles and the tendons in my leg feel like I've been gone on a shopping trip for the day, even if I haven't done anything, and that makes it difficult to sleep, and that's even from a cold. Yeah, that's why I sort of been social distancing since the guidelines came out. And so now, like most people have been social distancing for at least 2 weeks now, and what I find is that it may make people appreciate more the restrictions and the difficulty that those with disabilities do on a day-to-day basis, because at the moment people are restricted in going to shops, going to certain places, or how much they can buy. And for me, that is generally my everyday life anyway, because I have to give myself enough energy to shop. I can't just randomly go, I'm just going to nip to the shop to do a proper sort of food shop. I need to reserve enough energy for it. I need to plan it. I also need to know where everything is in the shop aisle-wise, so I can go directly to those aisles rather than look down every aisle, because that is even more tiring. And I actually haven't been to the shop since I've been social distancing. My mum and my sister have been dropping shopping off at my front door and getting me the things I need, because I don't think with the amount of queues outside the shop, let alone in the shop, also the people don't necessarily leave the guidance gap between people. And also the fact that on some adverts I've seen, it says you have to go like a specific route round a shop, and to me that seems a lot more energy consuming than just going to the specific aisles for the specific things you need. And it's also the fact that it's almost impossible here to get a delivery slot. Like, there's none for at least 2 months. So it's generally down to the fact that I have to rely on other people to get me shopping, which is nice. And sometimes I do that anyway, because sometimes I am way too tired to go to the shop, like after work, because work has used up all my energy from my commute, from my travel, from doing actual work. So then I have to sort of rely on other people, or I tend to keep sort of spare bread in my freezer or spare crumpets in my freezer, so that way if I am completely out of food, then I can raid the spare bread drawer in my freezer and at least make myself some toast. And I think because I do that every day anyway, it's not too much of a change for me, whereas people who are just used to being able to go out, nip to the shop, grab stuff, or just being able to go where they need to when they want to without any pre-planning, it's a bit of a change in lifestyle or mindset. But when you're with a disability, for me, if I don't know a route to somewhere, I have to plan it. I have to go with someone first. I can't go to a new place on my own, even when I'm driving, without someone being there who knows where they're going. After I've done it a couple of times, I'm okay. And it's just stuff like that, so that makes social distancing a little bit harder. I also live on my own, so I live in my own house, which means that because I'm the only one in my household, I have to social distance by myself. And to be honest, I don't mind that. I'm an introverted person, as you may have guessed from my other videos, and there was a lady who put a nice comment on my last video about the same thing. And basically it's normally okay, but when you need help with certain things, even if you don't like to admit that you need help, such as for like shopping, energy, so just sort of sometimes some general like tidying or like to carry things, social distancing from people makes it harder. And the reason I haven't been out much is because I fall over on a daily basis. I fall over in my house. I fall over downstairs quite a lot, but we don't want to talk about that one. And basically, going outside is more of a danger to me because the flooring and everything else is uneven, unsteady. Like the house where I live, it's on a new housing estate, so not all of the road is finished. Some of the ironworks are raised and all that, so it's not a very sort of level floor. So I haven't really been out for a walk. Normally if I want to go for a walk, I'll go with someone because in case I fall over, I want someone to be there to help me up, or at least just sort of act as a boundary between people to say, oh no, she's fine, she does this all the time. Whereas so that's not really been an option. I think I've been out like once really during the 3 weeks just to have a nice little walk around the block. And when I say a walk around the block, it's literally like what most people could do in about 5 minutes. It takes me about 20 minutes to do it. I know that because I had Google track it for me, and it was like, it sort of struggled with my walking speed sometimes, so I know whereabouts it is. And it, with the weather being nice-ish, it's been okay, but it is somewhat difficult, and staring at the same 4 walls in your house for like 3 weeks non-stop does get to you a little bit to start with. Also, another thing with social distancing with cerebral palsy I find is that though you are not in the at high risk hospitalization category of people, so you can't necessarily get the extra help from companies or from deliveries that you may need, but you still got an underlying health condition, and that makes it slightly more difficult. But what also to a point annoys me is that since all this social distancing has started, since everyone is being social distancing, staying at home, is that all these companies are coming out saying, yes, we can do this, we can do that, we can deliver you to you, we can get you all these items, we can do this. Whereas all these services would have been really helpful to me in everyday life. Like, why didn't they exist before? But they can magically, after a week, say, oh yeah, we'll do that now. But you couldn't offer me that service before. It would have made my life so much easier, so less tiring. And the fact that it does annoy me a little bit that when something is affecting everyone, companies and everyone pull out all the stops to go, yeah, we'll deliver, we'll do this, we'll do this, we'll do that. But when you have to do this sort of thing in your everyday life, people don't really consider it. And I kind of hope once this is all over, that people will be a bit more sort of considerate and thoughtful about those of us with long-term health conditions, about how we live life, rather than just think, oh, it's easy for everyone, oh, they're just lazy. But it's just the fact that I hope that continues, but based on previous experience, previous things, and people in general, it's not really, I don't think it's going to be a big change. I really wish it was, but it isn't. But it does show that people can, and companies can, make adaptations to people at short notice. They can come up with bespoke solutions for people that need them, and I don't know why people can't do that. For those of us with long-term health conditions, we're not asking to be awkward, we're not asking to be lazy, we're asking because it will help us. Most of us have trouble walking and breathing at the same time. We're not asking you to uphold your whole business, we're just asking you to do something to make our life easier. I know that turned into a little bit of a rant, but it has been something I've been thinking about lately with this social distancing, especially living on my own. I've been having a lot of time to think. What I've also found is really nice about the social distancing with my cerebral palsy is that it really sort of shows which people in your life generally know a lot about you and consider you as the person, but you as a person with a disability. So it's bringing people, like, people are messaging me to check if I need anything, they're checking if I'm alright because they know I live on my own. And basically what we've work has been really good. I'm lucky enough to be in a job that I can work from home, and I used to work from home every Wednesday anyway, just because I used to get really tired. But now I'm working from home every day, and it's been okay. I've actually been able to get a lot more work done than I do in the office, but I do miss the visual chat but with the social distancing, it does show who in your life really cares enough about you or considers you because they look out for you, you look out for them, they talk to you because they know you're on your own, or they know that you might need help or you can't get to the shop. So that is a nice thing. I think crises, in inverted commas, do show you the best and the worst of people, and generally I'm quite good at determining what people are like I'm quite good at picking up body language, so I don't tend to waste my time with people who I don't think are considerate or worth my friendship, or not really going to consider me a friend. For example, those are those people that will say, oh yeah, we'll do this, we'll do that, but then they get a better offer of someone who isn't disabled, so they don't have to put the extra effort in to go to a place or to do a thing. And you kind of realise that those people aren't the people that you want in your life as you grow up, I guess. But yeah, social distancing it's been rather reflective and a thoughtful process for me. Strangely enough, I thought not commuting and not sort of having to do everyday shopping tasks would make me less tired or would make me less pain in my legs, but it's been about the same, so that is somewhat disappointing. And I'm kind of like social distancing for that because it allows you to see people and how people see you, and to be honest, I haven't found it too much of a shift apart from the loneliness, because I know isolation is one of my triggers for one of my depression cycles, so I'm trying to keep in contact with people, but over the phone, over the video, is not always the same as seeing someone face to face. You don't actually have to be that close to them, but seeing someone smile or someone's eyes light up or someone really interested in the conversation you're having, I guess it just makes socializing a more rewarding experience, if you could call it that. So social distancing is interesting with the cerebral palsy because though I haven't had to change that much, it does make getting things more difficult and more planning on top of what you usually do, so that's my main thing. I also do miss seeing people at work because that was my sort of socialisation and my sort of chance to get outside of my house. I know, like, it's also kind of a scary concept because even though I don't have any respiratory conditions, I know how much a cold takes out of me, so I'm worried that if I do get it, what is my body going to do? How am I going to react? And the fact that I live on my own is also the fact that I don't have a very good sense of temperature. Like, I have quite bad circulation, so I wouldn't know if I had a fever or something. I could just feel hot and cold, so, and I'm worried in one way that if I got it, I wouldn't know until it was too late, and then I'd just be in my house on my own and wouldn't know what to do. So that is one worry, and yeah, it's just stuff like that, really. So yeah, social distancing is going okay. It does make things more difficult, and it does feel slightly more restrictive, but having cerebral palsy or my type, life is restricting anyway, so it's just adapting to those restrictions, and I've adapted to things my whole life as and when I've needed to. So yeah, that's a positive. It kind of also shows how strong and resilient people with long-term health conditions and disabilities are, because they have to do this every day, whereas people who don't, people having to do it now, or find it really difficult, how much effort they have to put in. And the fact that we all do this every day, we do this every day for everything, not just for this time period. And I think it kind of shows a positive of how much effort and fight you have to put in to do something. So thanks for watching this video. I'll see you in my next one.